kind of day it's going to be. Okay, good morning. Perfect. Y'all sound great. Good morning and welcome to the service of worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson. For those of you I haven't met, my name is Reverend Bethany Russell Lowe, and I have the great pleasure and honor of serving this congregation. Our community is ever striving to be as varied of the blooms of the Sonoran Desert. So whoever you are, whoever you've been, and whoever you are on the path to becoming, I invite you to bring your whole self, all of that, here and now. Our requirement to wear masks in worship and concurrent religious education has lifted, but if you are ever feeling sick, we ask that you join us from home. We are on YouTube every week. And if you're joining us for in-person activities here at UUCT, our expectation, our hope is that you are as vaccinated as you can be. I extend a special welcome to any visitors and invite you to fill out a guest information card. For those of you joining us on YouTube, the guest information card can be found on our website in the newcomer section. And if you're joining us here in person, head on over to the Welcome Center behind you and to your left after worship, and you will meet a great friendly face there who will have a clipboard and some yellow sheets of paper for you to fill out. We have 2 gender-inclusive restrooms down the hallway to your left, through that door to your left, down the hallway, and on the left. And we will meet for social hour right after the service, right here in Goddard. We always have coffee, iced tea, lemonade. There's often some snacks and some good company. Social hour food and refreshments are free for all, and donations are always appreciated to cover our costs. I have a few announcements for us this morning. The first is I want to draw your attention to these 2 laminated sheets based on the negative attention we've been getting in various places. Our sibling congregation, Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist, created a resolution of shared safety, and they all signed it last week. So if you are inclined to read this, I'm going to leave them on the pulpit. Go ahead, come on up and read them whenever you would like. And thank you to our siblings at Mountain Vista. And I want to announce from one of our new visitors, one of our new incoming members, Lynn, that our little free library out here on the patio is open for business. Really fun. Thank you, Lynn. So go visit that after social hour or during social hour. Go pay attention. There's some books in there. It's nice and clean. And we might move it to another spot on campus. But for today, go visit on the patio after worship.
I'm so excited about doing it.
I'm so excited that you're doing it, Lynn. Thank you.
And most of the books in there are from my personal library. So
Personal books.
You'll find out my tastes.
Perfect. So go see if you have the same reading taste as Lynn or not. And if you don't, bring some books from your own library next week. We know you've got some extras, right?
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Of course. And I want to encourage you all to sign up for our pledge parties in the middle of our stewardship season. You'll hear from a few more folks later in worship about that. And we do have some open pledge parties that are still have some spaces. They're over on the whiteboard to your left. I'm going to just draw your attention that Mike and Roxy are having an Ethiopian dinner on March 15th. Carolyn Saunders is doing a brunch and storytelling next Saturday. There's a board and card game at Alicia's on Saturday. And next Saturday night, right here, Sam is going to be cooking some Thai food. There are 2 spots, just 2 spots in that. So if you need to go over during the offertory to go sign up for that, go grab one of those last 2 spots. And also on March 14th, Janet, our beloved member who is currently birding in Costa Rica, is going to be leading a birding walk at her home here. So not Costa Rica, but you could bird in Tucson with Janet. So go ahead after worship and during social hour, go and sign up for one of those. We are encouraging some social gatherings this pledge drive. And an update on our stewardship, we currently have received pledges from 34% of our membership, which is great. We still have a few weeks left, but that is a great number. And we have a special video from Alicia, who's on our stewardship team, to show you just how easy it might be to pledge.
Oh, hi, Eve. Mind if I sit here? Oh, hi. How's everything in the garden? Oh, it's always beautiful in the garden, of course. But I can't figure this out. I'm supposed to make my pledge this year online. I guess, well, that's easy. I don't understand it. What's the deal with these computers? You want me to show you how? Here, let me see your phone. Oh, okay, here. You know, you can go to the latest email and just click on this link there and it'll take you right to it. But how, I don't get emails, terrible service in email. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, in that case, let's go to the website. Right at the very top, you'll see Pledge 2024-25. Just click on that. Then you fill out your email address, your name, and then what your pledge is for the year. Just click on the submit button and you're done. Well, that's not so bad. Easy, huh? Want an apple? Take crazy. What's in that apple?
With that, thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Alicia. And Eve. With that, I'm going to invite you to turn to a neighbor, hopefully one you didn't have breakfast with this morning or dinner with last night, and ask them, when and where are you most comfortable and at ease? When and where are you most comfortable and at ease? If you're joining us on YouTube, I welcome you to put your answers in the chat. gather in a time of raging wars, when our calls for ceasefire go in one ear and out another, when our insistence that trans people have a right to live and thrive are met with deadly silence, when our firm belief that all people deserve water, food, shelter, and safety are met with harassment and intimidation. We gather in a time of raging wars. And we gather weekly, not to prepare for those wars, but to center our bodies, our spirits for the work ahead. The work of transforming, adapting, learning, and preparation for a better, more just future. All throughout time, people all across this world, when they have been in need of that centering, have turned to the earth. Since before the beginning of faith, before the beginning of religion, in a time of meaning-making, people across age and space have turned to the earth to recenter their bodies and their spirits. You too, in your own ways, turn to the earth, to nature, to wind, to light, to dark, to center your spirits. Today, in our gathering, you will have the opportunity to explore spiritual practices rooted in earth-based traditions. Spiritual practices as diverse as the people who developed them. Some ancient, some new, all connected to the cycle of the seasons and the whispers of earth. We offer you these practices this morning because in times of raging wars at home and abroad, we all need practices that ground our bodies, ground our spirits, help us catch our breath, and vision our shared future. In these times of tumult and turmoil, we call on ancient practices to connect us to our ancestors and to the ones who will come after us to chart a way forward for ourselves. May the time we spend together today help you find your center this week, and maybe help you find a new practice to ground your life on this earth. Come, let us worship together. Robert is going to come up and light our chalice as we read our chalice lighting words together. I assure you he was asked. Would you please read the chalice lighting words with me? We light this chalice for the web of life which sustains us, for the sacred circle of life in which we have our being, for the earth, the sky, above and below, and for our Mother Earth, and for the mystery. If you're joining us on YouTube and you have a chalice or candle nearby, I welcome you to light it with us now.
This morning we've placed teal hymnals within reach of most of the chairs, so that those that would be willing will sing in the circle. If you are unable to stand and turn, you can also read the lyrics that will be on the screen. 5 verses of the first song. First verse we're going to sing to the north, and I will turn and face the north, which is the wall behind me. Then to that direction, east, clockwise, turning clockwise, singing out to the patio, then turning clockwise again, 3rd verse to the south, 4th verse to the west or the kitchen, and then on the 5th verse, would you please turn to the center of the space and sing to the center of the circle that we've just sung into being. As you are able, rise and join me in singing.
Grass and root, herbs to heal us, plants to feed us, land to till and tend and plow, with the pin
to the right.
Father, ere your inspiration holds together all that lives, as we breathe, our minds see clearly, leading us to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale, and gentle cloud, with the blade as sharp as morning east, we ask you, be here now.
Turning to the right.
Breath of fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts you warmth revive us, cooks our food and heats our homes. Flaming candle burn within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the one directing power south, we ask you, be here now.
Turning to the right.
Sister water ever flowing, ocean, river, pond, and rain, drink we now and quench our thirsting, cleanse us, we begin again. Mist and ice, a host of changes, all that courage will allow. With the cup, the holy chalice, west, we ask you, be here now.
And to the center.
Mother Spirit, intuition in the center of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. In this mystery, quiet conscience, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the cauldron, this we ask you, be our guide.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Generally this works. Here we go. Generally, in Joys and Sorrows, we acknowledge the indigenous stewards who share this land with us in Tucson. And since we won't be doing that ritual today, we wanted to highlight an opportunity to get to know one of our indigenous tribes by telling you a story about them. Our neighbors, the Pasquayaqui tribe, have a rich and vibrant history. Their ancestral lands of the Yomi, also known as the Yaqui, were originally in southern Sonora, Mexico, around the Yaqui River. The Yomi people migrated and traveled widely, likely traveling all the way up to the Gila River over years and decades and centuries. They encountered the Spanish, as we know, in the 1600s, and at that time they lived in mid-sized communities. They came and settled here in our area around the turn of the 1900s when the Mexican government was starting to really persecute. In 1948, they got their own tribal designation, and in 1968 became known as a reservation here in Tucson. This is their flag and a picture of their land. And on the next picture we have this is the Tribal Council and Royalty at the 2024 Tucson Rodeo Days. And what's really fascinating, and the invitation that I have for us, is that this community has found really creative and natural, organic ways to meld the Christianity that came in with the missionaries with their indigenous religion. And so the Easter celebrations is one of their big month-long or month-and-a-half-long celebration from Ash Wednesday to Easter. It's open to the public. There's information on their website. And it is an amazing, wonderful thing to go see. They reenact the crucifixion. So there is some enacted violence, but There's the story. And they welcome everyone. The only caveat, and I would be remiss if I did not say this to us, inviting you to go, is that they do not allow any photography of any kind. So you may not take out your cell phone even for a phone call. You will be asked to leave. So it is a beautiful, wonderful ceremony, and I hope we can all go next year when we do our world religions class. We're going to try and take a group of us, so we're preparing.
Thank you for offering me a moment to speak about this congregation and how important it is to renew our commitment during this pledge season. I have been known to turn the dial off during NPR pledge drives, so I do appreciate your attention. I had the good fortune of growing up Unitarian Universalist. My family attended a large congregation in South Minneapolis. I don't know if Preston and Betsy are here today, but they know the place. Church was where I had so many foundational experiences. I attended youth conferences. I went to classes about relationships and sexuality called AYS, which is a precursor to OWL. My youth group camped, we completed service projects, and we even traveled to Poland to teach English to Polish teenagers. As important as church was, I did drift away in my young adult years, as many of us do. But when I became a parent in my mid-30s, I knew I wanted to give my daughter a taste of the community I had enjoyed as a kid. I may have joined with my daughter's interest in mine, but I soon realized that church had just as much to offer me as it did to her. Not long after I joined, I found myself pregnant and crying on our brand new minister, Reverend Bethany's couch. I think I might have been the first one under her watch crying on that couch. My spouse and I had received some hard news about our son's chromosomes. Reverend Bethany was supportive. She listened and she asked some very insightful questions, one of which was, what makes a life meaningful? What makes for a good life? I'd like to bring that question out to you folks today, and anybody can shout out some answers, but what makes a good life? Being wanted. Yeah, totally.
Sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm. Belonging. Friendship, absolutely.
Love, all of those are.
Love, yes.
Sufficient resources.
Resources, yes, absolutely. My family has had a good life here at UUCT. You guys sent us pizza when our baby was in the ICU. When the pandemic hit and my parenting life felt more isolated and overwhelming than ever, I was able to participate in Jamili's online parenting support groups. My daughter has attended OWL classes, and both kids get world-class childcare from the RE staff and volunteers. Just this month, I found out that our local Down syndrome organization, SANS, was picked as the Share the Plate participant. Church is a place where we are seen, cared for, and valued. Maybe we can't find every ingredient to a meaningful and good life here at church, but gosh, I think so many of them are here. Connection, community, learning, purpose. I think you find your own ingredients here too, and that's what brings you here today. But anyone who's tried to start a garden in the desert knows that we must nurture what we want to see thrive. It's a tough world out there. Let's give generously. Let's renew our commitments to this church. Let's sign those pledge forms or go on the website. Let's up the amount for those of us that can, a little bit or a lot this year. It's time to provide some financial nurturing to this place, our church, and watch beautiful things grow. And now we can give a little financial nurturing to the offering plate this morning. It will be collected to support the life and work of our congregation. If you're joining us on YouTube, you can send a check to the office or give online at uucttucson.org/donate. If you're here in person, the ushers will come around with the baskets to collect your donations.
As I explained in our call to worship this morning, we will be inviting you to experience, try on some pagan and earth-based spiritual practices or to learn about a pagan spirituality this morning. These practices are being offered by SAS CUPS members. SAS, S-A-Z, stands for Southern Arizona, and CUPS stands for Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans. SAS CUPS is a chapter of a national CUPS group that is grounded in both earth-based and Unitarian Universalist traditions. CUPS National describes itself as, quote, dedicated to networking pagan-identified Unitarian Universalists, educating people about paganism, promoting interfaith dialogue, developing pagan liturgies and theologies, and supporting pagan-identified Unitarian Universalist religious professionals. Here at UUCT, we consider SAS CUPS a congregation within a congregation, or congregations within congregations. Many members of SAS CUPS are also members of UUCT and vice versa. We take great pride in the connection between SAS CUPS and UUCT. We call ourselves a congregation within a congregation to demonstrate the relationship that we try to model. I have covenants with each of the 5 SAS CUPS clergy, and through those covenants and our work together, we strive to stay in relationship and work together to support the health of each of our communities. SAS CUPS is an eclectic pagan group, including Wiccans, Druids, heathens, and more. SAS CUPS holds their own rituals at least 12 times a year, and they happen here at UUCT and at our sibling congregation, Mountain Vista UU, although there's Zoom technology too in place, so they're everywhere, essentially. Our CUPS chapter has at least 23 members, and their major holidays, Samhain and Yule, attract as many as 40 attendees, both in person and online. SAS CUPS also has a connection to Davis-Monthan Air Force Base and serves as the pagan connection to Air Force members there. We have 6 different options for you to choose from this morning, and I'm going to have the person introducing each of those options come up here. Brian will give you a microphone. So if you have a table this morning, come on up and give us a sentence or two about what you are offering this morning and where your table is, inside or outside, please. So if you are in person, if you're here in person today, listen for which table, which person, and which table you might want to go to.
My name is Julie Olson, and I have the magic table. So if you would like to know about the practice of magic with a K at the end, come to my table right over there.
I'm Reverend Ana Teresa Ortiz. I'm one of the Moors. So I am probably a very unusual person to have here in terms of my trajectory. But they said it's meet a pagan, and I certainly fall under that umbrella. So you will meet one it's unusual, the path that I took here. I'm a recovering academic and a recovering bioterrorism epidemiologist as well. And then I went to seminary, to interfaith seminary at One Spirit Learning Alliance in New York. So I am an eclectic interfaith minister, but most of the things I am excited to talk about and that I am ready to talk about today is not just my personal experience, but 4 things I'm really passionate about. Pastoral care and Wicca is one. A second one is humor, and since we mentioned Yaqui Easter, you need to be ready for humor when you go there because sacred clowning is a great part of their tradition as well. So especially if you go with a walker, be ready for the sacred clowns to steal your walker, and you have to ransom it back for a couple of bucks for the reservation. The third thing that I'm passionate about is actually showing how we interface with scientific literacy and education. And at a time when so many young people and adults are not getting that we're able to show that we have a different language for the beauty and the awesomeness of nature and why it's important to see ourselves as part of nature. And the last thing that I'm ready to talk about is inclusive Wicca. And I can show how the way that Wicca has our religions all have a history. They meet particular historical moments. So at certain points in time, polarity, right, and emphasizing fathers and mothers and what we think of as feminine and masculine were really important because Christianity had really suppressed the body and sexuality. And today what we're seeing is that we need to be able to see new ways of understanding human difference. I say that we in paganism and Wicca, we have revelation all the time. It's called the observations and new understandings of nature, understanding more about how little we know, including the way that energy works. So we used to think, oh, energy has to be, right, tension, opposites. No, we could have different models of energy. So that's what I'm kind of ready to talk about, as well as our structures of time and space and gathering. And I'm in a table back there.
I'm Reverend David Foster. I've been around the UU Church here since the early 80s, some with the medieval reenactment folks. But I've been practicing Druidry since 1980. I've done well over 400 weddings and funerals, some out of this church, by the way. Unfortunately, I also do, well, end of life. 2 years in hospice, at American Family Hospice, as part of my seminary. I've been a longtime member of Honoract Fane, which is the largest North American Druid order. I'm also affiliated with the Reformed Druids of North America. I'm a second order priest. One of my friends, Reverend Adam here, is a first order. He decided to come and help. Third order? Okay. But we have services and stuff within our group, helping Southern Arizona Cups, and I am familiar with almost all forms of Druidry, which is a nature-based religion. So,
Hello, I'm going to put on my linguist hat. Runes are a writing system used in several Germanic languages. There's a common misconception that divination with runes is an ancient practice that has continued in an unbroken line from ancient times. In reality, we do have evidence about the acrophonic names of the runes, which means names that reference the sounds that each rune makes. Reconstructionists have used those names and poems enumerating them as a basis for a divination system. We also have evidence of how the runestones physically were historically used for divination from an account recorded in Latin by an interested observer. And while the process is described, the interpretation is not. This doesn't mean the runes are an invalid way of communicating with the universe. Every system of divination was made up by people when you think about it, and having been created recently doesn't make them less useful. We just can't claim that it's exactly like the ancient ways of divination. There's many aspects of paganism, in fact, I would say a majority, which are not ancient. There's 24 runes in the Elder Futhark, which is a blend between a syllabary and an ideographic system. A syllabary, unlike an alphabet, has a one-to-one relationship between a symbol and a sound. So in English, you have the letter A. It can represent more than one sound, but in a syllabary, there's just one sound for one symbol. And it's also partially an ideograph or an ideogram, which has a symbol as a representation of an idea or a concept. I'm not an expert on runes, but I'm happy to share what I do know. I'll gladly do a reading for you today if you want one. I'll answer what questions I can and suggest resources for deeper learning.
Good morning, I'm the Reverend Carrie Cooper. I'm a UU and I'm a Wiccan. And EJ and I are going to be outside on the patio talking to you about tarot cards. We are prepared to talk about ethical divination, how tarot can be a roadmap to suggest things but not predict the future, because who takes action to control your future? We do. You do. Who is responsible for your choices? You are, exactly. It's one of the fun things about our religion is we get to be our own spiritual authorities, and tarot can give us some pictures about possibilities in the future.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brenda Lunt. I'm the coordinating officer of our Southern Arizona Cups group here, and so that kind of means I do the administrative work. So my table also outside is about UU and paganism and UU and the intersection of that. So I have some history of the CUPS chapter and the GA where they were ratified, if that's stuff that's interesting to you. I can tell you about our bylaws and organization. Where does the money come from? What do we do? Why do we have to be affiliated with a congregation, or why have we chosen that? So if you are one of those administrative-minded and have those questions about how do ministries interact with one another and why is that necessary and desirable, I'm the person who has that information today outside on the patio.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you all. In a minute, I'm going to invite you to follow one of these people at their table or go find them at their table. Again, Taro and Brenda's table are outside. Everybody else is in here somewhere. I want to tell you, though, when it is time for the tables to conclude, you will hear, or your neighbor will hear, Danielle start playing a tune that is familiar to many of us. And at that point, we will come back together wherever you are, direct our eyes towards the screen, and sing Blue Boat Home all together. So when you start hearing that, or if your neighbor isn't quite hearing it, you might say, hey, we're going to sing together, and direct your attention forward when that time comes. Please go find which table you'd like to be at, or grab a coffee.
Is this your table? Unofficially.
If you can hear my voice, smile. If you can hear my voice, breathe deeply. We'd like to sing ourselves back together. As you are able, sing this way. It's a choice. As you are able, let's stand and face the front. And we'll start this time. 1, 2, ready, begin. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling oceans, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Ready? And sing. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hear the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Next ritual is spring equinox, Tuesday the 19th, here and NBUU and on Zoom.
Thanks. Julia, you want the mic to say that?
Sure. The next ritual is the spring equinox. It'll be here and at MVUU and on Zoom. Tuesday the 19th, 6:30.